Hey everybody, this week's Torah portion is Parshas Trumah. And in this week's Parsha, the Jewish people get together and donate all the materials necessary for the construction of the tabernacle, the temple, as well as all the items that were going to be used in the temple. Now, when the Torah lists all those items that were donated, it seems to list them in order of value. So gold is first, then silver, then copper, then turquoise, and so on and so forth, until you get to the last, least valuable items. And then at the end of all the list of items, the Torah says, and also the Jewish people donated shoham stones, which were very, very precious gems that were donated to be used on the construction of the breastplate for the head Kohen. He wore a special breastplate which had 12 stones put in it, very, very precious gems. And that was what was donated, and that is listed last. Now what's interesting is that those stones were in fact more valuable than anything else in the temple. They were more valuable than the gold and the silver and everything else that went on. So why is it that those items are listed, those stones are listed last, when in fact they were the most valuable items in the entire group of things donated? Why were they listed last if they were the most valuable? And our rabbis say this teaches a very, very important lesson, and that is as follows. When we measure value of something, we ask ourselves either A, what will it cost us to get it? Or B, what can we get if we sell it? But that's not how God measures the value of an item. God measures the value of an item by what do you do with it? Meaning, if you have something like a pen that is worth very little, it's worth a dime at most, but you use that pen to do something good, you lend it out to somebody, it is more valuable now than a gold watch that is sitting on a desktop. Why? Because that gold watch may not have been used for anything valuable. Nothing good was done with it. But if something good was done with the pen, that innately made the pen more valuable. And what our rabbis are telling, what the Torah is telling us, is that the reason the stones were listed last, even though they seemed to be the most valuable item, is because those stones were actually gotten without any work whatsoever. Those stones were actually found on the seashore. After the sea split, those stones were there on the ground waiting for the Jewish people. No effort went into getting them. And so the least amount of work was required. Therefore, in God's eyes, that made them the least valuable, because the gold, the silver, the copper, all those things were things that the Jewish people had to work hard for in blood and sweat and tears. And that innately made them more valuable to God than the stones that were found for free without any work whatsoever. So the lesson the Torah is teaching us is as follows. When we measure value of an item, it's important to keep in mind it's not just measured in what somebody will pay for it, it's measured in how do we use that item. How are we going to make it valuable through our actions? That is how God measures the value of an item. On behalf of Makarav, Shabbat Shalom.